Oh, hi, Ted. I've just come for another cuddle because I need lots of cuddles. There's no one around. And I hear that you really want to hear the next story, and the girls want to hear it too. Is that right, Ted? Okay. Well, let's look at the next story about the bears. I think you want to hear it, Ted, because it's about bears. All right, there's no pictures on this page, so I'll just keep the picture here so you can look at that picture. Okay, more and more surprises. There doesn't seem to be anyone here, said Bessie, curiously looking around. Well, who lit the candle? Asked Moonface, his big round face looking anxious. We didn't leave it lit. Suddenly the father bear gave an angry growl and he pointed to his chair. Who's been sitting in my chair? He said. Oh, and who's been sitting in my chair? Said Mother Bear, pointing to her chair. Oh, and who's sitting in my chair and broke it all to bits? Squeaked the baby chair in tears. Bessie giggled. This sounds like the story of the three bears coming true, she said to Franny. They'll talk about porridge next. And they did. Who's been eating my porridge? Said Father Bear angrily. Oh, and who's been eating my porridge? Said Mother Bear. Oh, and someone's eaten mine and gobbled it all up, wept Baby Bear, scraping his spoon around the empty plate. It's all very mysterious, said Moonface. Somebody lit the candle, somebody sat in the chairs, somebody ate the porridge. But who? Well, it wasn't me this time, said Goldilocks, because I was with you all the time we were snowballing. Wasn't I, Bears? You certainly were, growled Father Bear, patting the little girl on the back. I wish we found poor Joe, said Bessie. Whatever will he be doing in this horrible cold island? Do you suppose we ought to go out and look for him again? Fanny shivered as she thought of the ice and snow outside. No, said Moonface. No one is going out of this cottage again till we're safely back in the woods. I'm afraid we can't possibly rescue Joe now. Listen, what's that noise? Said Goldilocks suddenly. Everybody listened. Someone was snoring in the next room. We never thought of looking in there, said Moonface. Who can it be? Shh, said Goldilocks. If we catch him asleep, we can tie him up and take him a prisoner. But if he wakes up, he might be fierce and fight us. They tiptoed to the bedroom. One by one, they squeezed through. Who's been lying in my bed? Said Father Bear in a growly voice. And who's been lying in my bed? Shh, said Moonface crossly. Who's been lying in my bed? Said Mother Bear. Shh, said everyone. And who's lying in my bed and now they're fast asleep? Said Baby Bear. Everyone stared at Baby Bear's cot. Yes, there was someone there. Someone with a white bear skin. Was it a polar bear? It's a white bear, said Moonface, half frightened. Tie him up before he wakes up, said Father Bear. He's an enemy now. Goldilocks got a rope out of the kitchen cupboard. Moonface went to one side of the cot, and the Father Bear went to the other side, and they tied the rope between them. They nodded to each other, and in a trice they had caught hold of whoever was asleep, twisted the rope around him. He's caught now, said Moonface joyfully. Oh, look, it's Joe, but they tied him up. Joe awoke with a jump. Who had got him? Had the magic snowman caught him again? He began to shout and struggle. Moonface tied more tightly with the ropes. And then, when Bessie and Franny saw his face, they yelled loudly, Moonface, it's Joe! It's Joe! Oh, it's Joe! They rushed to the cot and flung their arms around Joe. The boy was too astonished to speak. He got out of the rope and hugged his sisters. How'd you get here? He asked. How'd you get here? Asked Bessie and Franny. Come into the kitchen and we'll have some hot porridge and milk, said Goldilocks. We can talk about it then and get warm. So Joe went with the others, all chattering loudly about everything. Goldilocks ladled out porridge into the big blue bowls, and she made some hot chocolate. Soon everyone was putting sugar and treacle on the porridge and drinking the chocolate. Joe poured some milk over his porridge and smiled joyfully at everybody. "What an adventure this has been," he said. "Shall I tell you my tale first, or will you tell me yours?" Joe told his, and then Bessie told how Moonface had gone to the 3 bears for their help and all about the fierce battle. "Oh, it's very a pity about the battle," said Father Bear sadly. "The white bears are cousins of ours and have always been friendly. Now they seem to be enemies." "Let's hope they don't discover the cottage," said Goldilocks, eating her hot porridge. "Moonface, hadn't we better make some magic and get back to the wood?" "Oh, plenty of time, said Moonface, pouring himself another cup of cocoa. But you know, there wasn't plenty of time. For just at that moment, Goldilocks gave a scream and pointed to the window. "Someone's looking in," she said. "Don't be silly," said Moonface. "I'm not," said Goldilocks. "I tell you, somebody looked in. Who could it be?" "The handle of the door is moving," yelled Moonface. He leapt out of his seat, grabbed the door, and locked it and bolted it. Phew! Father Bear got up and went to the window. He looked out into the snowstorm. "I can't see anything," he said, and then he growled loudly. "Yes, I can. I can see the white bears, and they've surrounded our cottage. Now what shall we do?" "Well, we can't get in at the door, and they certainly shan't get in the windows," said Moonface, looking fierce. The door shook, but it held well. Someone was banging on it. "We shan't let you in," yelled Joe. "If anyone tries to open the window or break it, I'll hit him with this kettle," shouted Moonface, who had picked up the kettle and was dancing around with it. "Moonface, that kettle's got hot water in it," said Franny. Do be careful. You dropped some on me." "I'll pour it down the neck of any bear who dares to come in here," yelled Moonface, splattering the room with hot, steaming drops of water. "Oh, dear," said Bessie. "Hide behind the bed, Franny. It seems to me that Moonface is almost as dangerous as the bears." The Father Bear dragged a big table and put it next to the door. Things were getting exciting. Joe and the girls were frightened, but they couldn't help feeling terribly thrilled as well. Whatever was going to happen next? "Oomph, oomph," boomed the big bears outside, but they couldn't get in the door or the window. But they found another way. The chimney was wide and big, for the fireplace was one of the old-fashioned kind and needed a wide chimney. One of the bears climbed up onto the roof, followed by 3 more. The first one slid down the big chimney. Oh, look. There's the bear. Whoa, he better be careful he doesn't get burned by the fire. Down he went. Whoosh! Down went another, and a third, and a fourth. They landed with a crash onto the hearth and hurriedly jumped away from the flames of the fire. "Surrender!" they cried to the children and the bears. "Surrender! The magic snowman is outside. Let him come in." Oh, I wonder if they're going to let him come in. And that's the end of that story. The next one's called What Happened to the Snowman? Whoa, Ted, I can't wait to hear that one.